What's going on, everyone? Jordan here. I wanted to show you guys one of my favorite recipes that I've been loving to eat recently. It's a really cheap recipe. It's really inexpensive, and so long as you have the prerequisite ingredients, you should be good to go. And I think every vegan in existence has these ingredients, so I'll be surprised if you don't. So we have some black beans or any bean of your choice, whatever bean you like. We have some chopped tomatoes. That's the main sort of ingredients. Then we have some, for seasoning, I have curry powder and coriander leaf. And the curry powder is not to give it a curry flavor, but to give it a spicy flavor. If you use curry powder alone and you don't add any cumin and you don't add any garam masala, then you actually just get a nice flavor. In general, that doesn't remind you of curry too much. But if you add garam masala and cumin and these kinds of things into it, then it has a more curry flavor. So I'm just adding this to give it a spicy flavor, not necessarily a curry flavor, and it makes it taste really, really good. So yeah, some coriander, some curry powder, and I also have some coriander leaf just to give it a nice herby taste. But fresh coriander works way better if you have fresh coriander. And I have some salt. I actually have some MSG as well. I like MSG in my cooking, but it's completely optional. Just use salt instead if you don't have MSG. But MSG does, for me anyway, give it a lot of flavor. And of course, the main thing, as you can probably see, is the oats. Yes, I'm putting oats in this. I would usually have it with rice, but I just find that oats gives it a denser, richer flavor, and it's so much more convenient for me because then I don't have to make any rice, and all I have to do is cook these together, add in the oats, it thickens it, gives it my grains, boom, done diddly do done. So yeah, that's the basic recipe. So what I do is I just grab my chunky tin tomatoes, I throw them in like this. It's a bit hard to do everything with one hand, but then I will turn the heat on like so. So I've got the heat on, put it on low for now. Then I like to put some of the bean water in there, so the aquafaba. So I do put a little bit in, not a lot, but a little bit. I drain the rest of the bean water out. So let me just quickly do that. So I drained the rest of the bean water out, which I've just done. 1 second, wash my hands. Then I pour the beans in, like so. Some stragglers. Pour the beans in. Give it a quick stir. Then a teaspoon of curry powder. I have a cute little red spoon that's intended for children, but I use it for my seasoning. So yeah, I'm gonna just quickly add in the curry powder, but it's just a teaspoon. So this would be for me a reasonable teaspoon. So yeah, I put a teaspoon of curry powder. Then I put some coriander leaf in there. So this is just some coriander leaf, but obviously fresh is just so much better. It's probably enough. Then I just give it a brisk stir. Like so. Turn up the heat a little bit. Get it cooking. I also like to add, since I'm using dry coriander, I like to add a little bit of dry coriander at the end as well. Or coriander leaf at the end, it gives it a nice flavor. So those are the main ingredients, obviously, aside from the oats. Then it's just a matter of like salt and MSG. For me, obviously, you don't have to use MSG. I just like MSG. Gives it a really intense flavor. But yeah, salt, MSG to taste. And if you're feeling a little bit unhealthy, I know a lot of people have a big problem with sugar. But I do like to put a little bit of sugar in my food. So I put about 2 teaspoons of sugar. So I'm going to just throw that in there with the salt and the MSG. Okay, so just give everything a stir. I've incorporated everything together. And there was still some sort of tomato, like tomato juices in there. So I got some cold water just to get it out. And it's going to thicken up so much anyway. So adding a little bit of water to this is definitely not bad. I can already smell the spice sort of really coming through as well, which is a really pleasant smell. And then the objective is like to cook that for about 5 minutes. And after about 5 minutes of cooking, I'm going to show you me adding in the oats. You'll see it get really, really thick. And then, yeah, it's pretty much nearly done. Right, so don't want to get the camera steamy. The tomatoes and all the the spice and everything is like sort of incorporated now. Everything's good. So it's time to add in the oats. And you can add in as much oats or as little oats as you want. It really is sort of personal preference. I like it to be quite thick and filling, so I don't tend to be too shy on the oats. See if I can show you me adding it in though. That's a bit difficult, isn't it? So I add in a little bit, give it a stir. If it's thick enough for me, then I just adding more. Then I will, sorry. If it's thick enough for me, I'll stop adding in the oats. But that's not, I want a bit more in there. I'll just do it again. I'm going to add a teeny bit more. And I think that is perfect. Yeah. Just closing the container. There we go. So yeah, that's the ideal amount of oats for me. So what you need to do now is you just have to cook oats like you would cook them in the morning for breakfast if you're having sort of like some kind of oatmeal or something. And you want the color of the oats to change. So you want the color of the oats to become more symmetrical with the color of the dish itself. It will kind of look like a chili actually when it's done. And keep stirring it so you can actually develop the starches in the oats as well. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep stirring it and then I'll come back maybe 5 minutes. Okay, yeah. So I think it's done now. I don't know if you can see, but it will kind of look like a chili. It doesn't. It looks a bit different on the camera, but it will kind of resemble a chili. It's super delicious, super thick. Oats is just an ideal replacement for rice for me if I'm not in the mood to make rice. So I'm gonna plate this up. I'm not gonna add any more coriander. It doesn't actually need it. It tastes fine. I gave it a taste earlier, but yeah, it's nice and thick, really, really delicious. Lots of protein and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's good stuff. So I'm gonna just plate this up and I'll show you what it looks like on the plate. So yeah, it's finished. Again, the oats look like mince. It's quite funny. It reminds me of a chili. It reminds me of a bolognese. It's funny how it looks at the end, but it's nice and thick. Super filling, super delicious. You can have vegetables on the side. I actually have some oranges and some fruit, so I'm gonna be munching on these today. That's gonna be me done for the day. But yeah, super quick to make. The MSG is completely optional. I just like putting MSG in my food. The sugar is completely optional. You can use fresh tomatoes as well if you prefer. I actually have some baby plum tomatoes, but I was just being super lazy today. So, but you can use fresh tomatoes if you prefer to use those. I would always say try to use oats in your savory cooking. I think oats is absolutely delicious on any occasion. I love having oats in my food. So yeah, oats works for savory food as much as it works for sweet food. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that recipe. Super duper simple, super filling. Beans, oats, and a can of tin tomatoes or fresh tomatoes, and you're done. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day.